Okay, here we're going to make 2-ply cordage. Now what you want to do is get your paracord out, or parachute cord, even it up, half it up, and then come up to the end where it's looped over. And what you want to do is pinch it with your index finger and thumb, and the end pinch it with the index finger and thumb. Take it, twist it out in front of you, and then with your middle finger reach down and grab it and turn it back toward you, and just repeat the process. Twist out, twist back, out, back, out, back, out, back. And you keep doing this until you get a long enough piece of cordage that you're needing. Alright, here it took me about 5 or 6 minutes to get roughly right at a 6-foot piece of cordage, double plied. But we're about ready to make our bow for our bow drill, and this here is just a green piece of wood. I just went ahead and scraped the bark off of it. It's a green piece of wood, but starting out, just go up there to the fork, make you a little circle or a twist. Just twist the rope, reach through and grab a piece, and then place it on one of your forks and pull it up. Okay, and then from here you want to bend it down a little bit to where you have a knock cut in it. Now all I've done was taken my hand, grabbed a hold of it, and where my hand stops, that's where my knot is going to be. That way I know I always have it fairly in the right spot. But from here, what you want to do is just lay the string beside the knot, wrapping it around so it can go up inside of it, then come in between the string and the bow and bringing it back down through so as it's just like that. And then once you have that little section, just turn it so as everything is lined up, and just start wrapping it everything around until you get down to the end. And once you get to the end, you go back and you do the same thing. And then you set this out in the sun and let it dry a little bit. Not a lot, because it's a green and it'll tend to stretch a little bit. You see here how tight it is. Once you put it in the sun, it'll stretch a little bit and then it'll become loose. I'm getting my bow set up here. Now, I've already went and collected it and scraped it down with my knife and cut my notch in it and put my string in it. But what you want is a green piece of wood that is as long from your armpit to your fingertips. And here's the wood here that I harvest, and we're just gonna baton it down. Okay, I guess that right there will work. Get about halfway in it. Okay. Cut another little piece off. It'll be a flat. Right there. Okay, I got a flat board to work from. About a 1/2 inch thick. Let's take it. Take my more knife here. Clean up any edges. Now, I'm going to take what shavings I get from my board to act as my tinder. Like I said, this is poplar. There's several trees or woods that you can use for a fireboard. And a good rule of thumb is, if you can make an indentation with your fingernail inside the wood, then it's good enough to use as a fireboard. Let me go ahead and smooth some of this down a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to take and cut another little section to act as our spindle. And you want about the size of your thumb for your spindle. Use that piece. Okay. Go ahead and use this one. Okay. Now, you don't want it completely circular. You want it so it has like little corners on it. So I'm just going to make some feather stick curls and be taking it down to the size of my thumb. Now, how do you do that? Is you just take your knife blade and lay it flat against the board or the wood that you're working with. And it may take a few times to get a groove going on. But all you do is just shave down. And you get little curls. So I'm going to do that the entire, whittle it down. Now if you take your knife blade tip
and point down, you get a different type of shaving than what you would if you would have your knife blade up. But either way, it doesn't really matter as long as you get the feather stick curls. I'll take my hat off there. And we're just going to whittle this down. Okay, after you get your spindle carved the way you want it, you want to put 2 tips on it. The top one being one of the finer tips. You just shave it down. Okay, we're almost done. Now, we got to cut us a bearing block here. All we're going to do is just saw half of it here. Just shave a little bit down. It'll fit the hand a little bit better. Just put us a little divot right in the center. Okay, now from here we got all 5 of our pieces that make up our bow drill. We have our bow, we have our bearing block, we have our spindle, we have our hearth or baseboard, and we all got our string. Without the string, it does you no good. You're stuck with a hand drill then. So from here, all we're going to do is place the spindle. Now what I like to do, I like to take about a finger's width and put back. If you read books, you know, it'll tell you to flush the spindle up on the edge of the board. But I find that to be, once you start drilling and getting your smoke and stuff going, it tends to bust your notch out. So that's the reason I like to back my spindle up on my board. Once we get our little divot in our board, it's time to start mating these 2 boards together. Now what I like to do, I like to take 2 fingers and place between my foot and where I'm going to be drilling. Place the center of my foot there. Then the leg that's going to be on the ground, have it straight back behind your front foot, 90 degrees. Then take your spindle, top point goes between the string and the bow. Grabbing the string with your thumb and twist. And it should be, the string then should be tight so you don't move it. Place it on your board. Get some nose grease put on your spindle. And I always like to spit in my notch. Or socket. You can use a snail, Vaseline, or anything of that nature, but I'm showing a way so as you don't have anything but cordage. Now from here, position yourself so as your arm or hand is directly over top of your spindle, having your arm as straight as possible and wrapped around the front of your leg or shin. That way you're using your entire arm and chest muscles and not just your wrist. If you tend to bend down, put your chest on your knee, then you're just using your wrist muscles to try to control everything. And keeping your arm straight. That's the whole purpose of keeping your back straight as well. So it keeps this arm straight and your bow arm straight. And while you're going through the motion of your bow, if you keep your bow arm straight, it tends to prevent you from going up and down. If you go down with the front of your bow, your string will go down. If you go up with the front of your bow, your string will tend to climb up. Keep it roughly in one spot and use the entire length of the bow. And if you find it that your string is starting to slip, what I like to do is grab the entire string with my fingers and pull them into the bow, and then place my thumb in front of my index finger and press down. And that tends to take up any slack that you may have. But alright, you see smoke? Okay. Now from here, we're going to be cutting our notch. So, what I like to do is make a little X. Taking my fingernail, you can take it with your knife here. Just make like a little X. Okay? And then just cut in between those two X's, right to the edge of your black circle. You take your knife, stick in, and pop it out. And dress up any little imperfections. And you'd have a little notch. Now, what I'm going to do is place some bark here underneath my notch. I can use a leaf or anything. Just place the leaf on the ground and then the bark. That way all my coals will fall down on that. Once again, get your positioning. Place the top between the string and the bow, grasping a hold of it with your thumb and giving it a twist. You shouldn't be able to pull. Place it down in there. Place your bearing block on. And you don't have to go fast, because there's no dust in your ox or anything. That's all you're doing is filling up your knots. And once your knot gets full, that's when you should start to go fast. We're going to let this coagulate a little bit. Starting to ring here. Okay, I'm going to take my shavings that we got earlier. Place in there.
Alright, when you're using your bow drill, your spindle will usually start to get black and hard, and you start to lose friction. Well, to solve that problem, just take and cut little facets out. And you also cut the top off. And you'll have something looks about like that. And then you'll have friction again. And then if you do this and this doesn't work, take a few grains of sand or dirt and put down in your notch on your fireboard, and that should help you get friction again. You can also just take your knife and score the blackness. Just make little score marks. That also help you get friction as well.